this is basically the, well, we know it as Omega 3, right? What is the real name? Dubrillion or Destrillion? I would probably never really get it right.
This one, I think, is Destrillion.
Destrillion. Well, maybe we're wrong, but...
well, if you can look at the front end of the game, you'll know whether we got it right or not.
Yeah, exactly. Nevertheless, I'm here with Brian, production manager, and Florian Sauer, and Flo is basically our Mr. Graphics low-level engine programmer, so the whole shader system is his, the lighting system is his, the shadow system is his. Did you do anything else, Flo?
Oh, Portal Engine, but that sums it up.
The Portal Engine, which is all of the indoor things, right? So maybe start out a little bit in terms of shaders, especially compared to Rogue Leader. First of all, what is a shader, and why are shaders important these days?
A shader is a kind of an interface between the artist and the engine. Like the artist describes what they want to see in game, and like all the parameters which come with it, the textures. That's what I combine under the shader, and reading that information, I have to set up the graphics hardware to render things so that they look like as in they look in Maya.
When you basically started out with Rogue, with Rebel Strike, I think one of the bigger decisions we made was, well, let's rewrite the whole base engine. Why was that decision made? Because I think you were one of the driving factors in that.
Yeah, the main decision is that the main driving reason for rewriting the thing is because we figured out we want to have like basically all effects which we are programming combined with all other effects if possible, and like there are like this light scattering effect, there's like the fog ground sandstorm effect, and then there's some gas clouds effects, and it turns out that you want to have all combinations possible, and to achieve that you have to be very careful in using your resources like textures, texture coordinates, color channels, color registers, kind of thing. And if you start to get hacky in programming, then it breaks apart.
Yeah.
And therefore we did this clean rewrite, and it was still very challenging. I'm always fearing that some feature drops away in some obscure combination, and I go nightmare-y because it's so hard to track.
Brian,
may talk a little bit about the level itself.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you'd call this our tribute to Jeff Mentor and Tempest 2000. But no, this level is interesting because it's one of the main points at which we ended up having to remove content from the game. Unfortunately, we were extremely ambitious when we designed this game, and we had a much more cohesive plot before we had to start cutting levels. And one of the things, unfortunately, that got cut from the game was the facility that was originally at the end of these tunnels here in the gas planet.
Yep.
So when you get there, you find that the Empire knows you're coming, and they've already packed up and left. There used to be a whole other section of the game here where you actually attacked that facility using one of the walkers, and you had to tag targets and call in bombers to blow it up, and we just ran out of time.
Yeah.
To do that.
We actually cut it, when was it, like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, and both Chris Clyde, the level designer on it, and we were all in tears because we also had a really nice hook for the visuals of that facility. It would have been really, really nice, but oh well.
Yes.
Next game.
Someday we'll be able to do deleted scenes in video games, but for now you have to live with us telling you about them.
Exactly.
We also lost a level where we went into a Star Destroyer on the Luke campaign, and that came after the Ralltir level.
Yeah.
And as a result, Ralltir ended up being expanded into 2 levels. But in the end, I think the game was better off for it.
That's true, yeah. Because we could focus more on getting the existing parts really, really right. Flo, also on your plate, I think one of the main reasons for the rewrite of the whole engine was basically performance, right? Because
definitely.
I mean, if we would have just ran the Rogue Leader engine in the co-op mode, for example, it would have been standstill.
Yeah, I definitely see this when I run the co-op mode, in one-player mode, which is something only we programmers can do for checking things. I can compare it with the old Rogue Leader code, and it's so much faster.
Yeah.
The biggest improvement there was the imposter code. This basically you turn an arbitrary 3D object when it's far away, you turn it to a sprite, and it's saves so much stuff.
And so now everybody on the internet will be looking for the passcode that they think Florian put in the game to give them the single-player version of Rogue Leader.
Exactly. No, it isn't in there. Sorry, because since the missions, actually, we probably would have done it, but since we had to retweak the missions for the co-op mode, we couldn't really do it.
It's very hard.
But yeah, it would be. I mean, one of the goals was really to get almost twice as fast as Rogue Leader, and I think in many instances we are twice as fast performance-wise.
And don't forget about it's almost twice as fast with the additional features like the atmospheric lighting, the light scattering. It's very nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. I mean, we were a little bit surprised because after Rogue Leader, especially the tech guys, that means you, Thomas, and Sigmund were really skeptical how much further you could push the machine. But there was some juice left in there. I mean, do you think that GameCube is maxed out with what we're doing here?
Oh, pretty much. I mean, you always can, if you have like 10 more years and write everything in assembly, sure you can go faster, but like for reasonable trade-off, this is pretty much the top end, I would say.
Considering what it took to get this beast to fit on the disc and in the memory, I'd say yes.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, one of our biggest nightmares was really memory. I mean, the whole game, as you see it here, was running in 48 megabytes only a couple of months ago. It was not even close to 24, what a real GameCube is, because our development kits have 48 megs. And we said, just like we did on the N64, why don't we go extremely aggressive on this and basically stretch the whole thing out a little bit. The problem was we went so aggressive that I think by summer this year, by June or something, every single level in the game used the whole 48 megabytes. So then a scramble started on Thomas's, Florian's, Holger's, and well, everybody who's involved with the technical side to somehow squeeze the memory down, and that was a huge effort.
This is where all of those old school, early on video game programming tricks come back into play. When you're streaming everything off the disc and everything has to be organized just so and fitting into memory and efficiency and assembly coding, and Florian knows this much better than I do.
It's a nightmare.